Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's check out what these tea leaves have to say tonight. Okay. And so our card tonight is the Seven of Discs, which has to do with failure. And I know on my Aries reading, I had the Seven of Swords, and I said it was about failure, or it was related to failure. It was related to futility. Close to failure, though. Sometimes I get these things mixed up. I am not a tarot expert, I have to say. Not by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so I just kind of want to look at this a little further away for a second. And I hope you all had a nice couple of days, few days between the readings. If you are watching for the first time and you're interested in watching the other Sagittarius readings, they are timeless. You can watch them at any time. They activate when you turn them on. So there's a playlist if you are looking to find some old ones. And they come out a couple times a week. Here goes TT. Okay, so we're gonna start. Where should we start, really? I'm looking at this one, and it looks like a fish, two fish together. The thing is, they kind of look skeletal, almost like, you know, they have been tore open a bit. Maybe they're not alive, but there's a fish up here that does seem to be full and swimming. So I feel like there really has been kind of I feel like you have been around a situation where there has been either a large incident or a pretty steady decline in somebody's life. I don't think it's yours. I think this is maybe like a close friend or a loved one, okay? And I think that it is, you know, it was something that is kind of surprising. It really seems like this could be financial, likely financial, but I think it's really kind of compounded by other factors. Okay, maybe some poor decision making, health issues, possibly, you know, just kind of life really becoming overwhelming for them. And I think that, you know, you have been in a place of doing pretty well. Things have, you know, really kind of come together for you, at least in the last few months. And through the other readings I've seen, you know, you've been doing a lot of self-work and having a lot of breakthroughs with yourself, I would say. So in this situation, you know, I wonder if this is maybe one of the family members that you had kind of distanced yourself from. Maybe about, what was it? I don't know, 2-3 months ago, 4 months ago, when we were talking a lot about kind of, making some of those big boundaries. And now this doesn't have to really be involved with any of those old readings, but I do see that there has been kind of, these situations arising in your life. Some of them, large, but mostly minor things. And I think that you just, you really come into your power a lot. And now seeing somebody kind of go through, a pretty difficult situation, I think that you are compelled to want to lend support. And I see we have a ship here, and we have in this in this kind of, crescent shape, half circle. It looks like somebody is kind of standing there pointing. We have another person over here pointing. And as I look at this, I think, this person really wants you to kind of come and save them. Okay. After all of these things that have gone on where they were not very kind to you. I think that, you felt pretty alienated from your core group of people as you began to kind of advocate for yourself, doing a lot of the caretaking within the family, and taking on a lot of the responsibilities that other people just really were not, on board to take up. And so, when you kind of, got tired of being the one, you stepped away, and now things seem to have, gotten a little bit difficult, in their lives. Okay. And so, yeah, they want you, whoever this is really wants you to come and bail them out. I feel like you are compelled to do so. I can't tell you if you should or not. I think that you should always, follow your intuition. Sometimes in life, we do a lot of work to distance ourselves from people, create those boundaries, heal, and hopefully, find some way to rearrange the dynamic within our relationships with our, our kin and our family and so on. Sometimes that can be managed. Other times, it really just can't, but, I understand the feeling of wanting to help, even if they've been less than, charitable with you or kind, supportive, and so on. Now, what I will say is, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing kind of all of this wreckage. I even see kind of a heart that's split apart. I see a person kind of walking over all this kind of wreckage here. And there's anxiety, a feeling of, I don't know, just kind of chaos, a feeling of chaos. And, my only advice really, truly is to protect your energy going into a situation like this, especially for whatever reason. It feels like there's a lot of darkness involved here. When I get this feeling, it kind of almost makes me think that it's maybe related to addiction, or there is kind of maybe like a mental health crisis happening. But it feels like there's a heavy energy, okay, kind of almost oppressive. And, you know, going into a situation where you're trying to really help somebody get on their feet, get out of the whatever's going on with them, you have to be very mindful about your limits, right? What you are willing to do and what you are absolutely not willing to do. You know, where are you, you know, where's the line where you become somebody who's enabling somebody to continue to be self-destructive, make poor decisions, and so on. And also, you know, I feel like you've really had to work very hard to kind of rebuild things for yourself and fortify your emotions. And so I would hate to think that somebody would take advantage of you. Although, you know, I think that you're in a place where you are more discerning. So, you know, it just really comes down to kind of looking over the situation and really reminding yourself that you can back out of this at any point. You can say no. You know, you are not obligated to anybody, you know, aside from if you have children, of course, and their dependents. But, you know, it can be a sticky situation, you know, and it can be spiritually trying, to say the least. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a person who has their arms raised. It looks like I almost imagine like smudging. Okay, and I see this, it reminds me of not only kind of a bridge or a hill, and this is the same, the ship upside down, right? But I think of like a home, like a domicile, right? And so I feel like, and I will always say, when there are any kind of energies that seem, you know, dark, powerful, stale, heavy, you know, toxic, any of that kind of stuff, even if things are going good, I mean, really, I will find any reason to tell you, you should open your windows, air your house out. Okay, do a cleansing exercise, ritual, whatever it is that you like to do. If you smudge, if you know, blow smoke, if you use incense, you know, it could be anything. Using a bell to clear energy. I am really partial to, you know, flowing air, fans, prayers, keeping altars, right? Making offerings. If you have the ability, I mean, I don't because I have cats and they would destroy it, but having a fountain of some kind in the house, flowing water, okay? They say by the entrances of your home, any of the doors that lead outside, these are good places to have flowing water. But really, I also think going out into the light, okay, making sure that you are, you know, cleansing yourself through direct light. Of course, wear your sunscreen, wear a hat. You know, don't be in the sun too long. You have to be careful. But going out there, getting some fresh air, you know, letting the beautiful sky bless you. And the other thing that comes to mind is taking a ritual bath or a shower. I'm a shower person. So, you know, getting in there, doing a cleansing, okay, not just washing your body, but, you know, saying your prayers, saying your little mantras, you know, whatever it is, whatever you do, cleansing, just So we're talking about cleansing the house, going outside, cleansing the interior, exterior of your mind, body, soul, and also taking some kind of ritual bath. It doesn't have to be in the shower bath either. You could immerse yourself in water, submerge yourself, and swimming pool, you know, whatever it is, wading pool, lake, river, ocean, you know, all these things will do. And it's really, you know, it's the process that is most important when we are doing these kinds of things. Of course, they have, you know, physical components that are important. But, you know, it's about the psyche and the spirit more than anything else. I really am a firm believer in keeping, you know, I'm not a person, I've lived in untidy houses. I have a child, you know, I understand things get messy. They do. You know, you get dust, you know, get clutter, whatever. But I do really believe strongly in the thinking that when you live in a space that is out of control, your mind follows, right? There is the anxiety over being overwhelmed. I can tell you, you know, my daughter and I, we make messes all day, you know, and I'm constantly cleaning up and stuff and doing chores. But when we have stuff, you know, kind of set all over the counter and on the dining room table, and, you know, we haven't got to the part of the day where we're going to do our big cleanup before we transition into leaving the house or whatever. And my husband comes up from working, and I can just see, you know, he has instant anxiety walking into an environment like that. Now, I've been in the environment all day, so, and I've been the one making the mess. So, I'm, you know, still feeling anxiety about it, but it's like a slow burn. Whereas you walk into a room like that, and especially if it's the place where you live, that can feel really like too much, like you're just facing too much. So, you know, I really make it quite a point to keep the house, everything put away by the end of the day, right? So when we wake up, we start again, you know. And the biggest thing is I've lived with roommates, I've lived in all kinds of situations. So sometimes we really cannot control what the majority of the home is like, right? That's understandable. But your room, where you sleep, your sacred space, where you dream, right? Where you spend a good amount of time when you're in your home. You know, if you can possibly minimize what's in there, you know, put it away, keep it cool if you can, you know, keep the surfaces cleaned off, things, the colors that are, whatever the colors are that you find appealing, you know, calming, somewhere that you want to be, right? Like, I don't want to be in a bright yellow room. Somebody else might want to, but that would make me feel very stressed out, you know? And I'm very particular about the color of the lights in my home. You know, I don't like really bright light. Now here I'm sitting under some bright lights, and you know, it gives me anxiety a little bit. But for the rest of my home, I don't like bright lights. So if you really begin to think about these things, the way that your rooms smell, the way that, you know, like I said, the air flowing, Maybe you don't like air flowing. Maybe you like it to be more still and quiet, and you don't like the feeling of a breeze on you or whatever. Whatever it is, you know, I think it's important to figure out what kinds of things get you into a more centered place, a more open place, a place where you feel safe and secure. Okay, I know that we live in a world where oftentimes we want things to look a certain way. Or we're so busy, we don't have time to, you know, put stuff away all the time or whatever. But I implore you to, you know, try to give yourself you know, 10, 15 minutes a day to just pick up, make your bed, you know, put your dirty clothes in a basket, keep everything, your walkways clean, you know, wipe things down. And if you can't do the whole house, which, listen, I get it, keep your bedroom clean, and try to keep your, you know, sitting room, wherever you watch TV or sit on the couch and read, or, you know, whatever. Keep 1 or 2 spaces picked up for yourself and see how that helps. You know, being intentional in those ways. You know, I'm not trying to mom you, but I will tell you, from somebody who has had plenty of spiritual difficulties. I've had addiction issues. I have addiction issues. I'm in recovery, thankfully, but I've mental health diagnoses. I've been through, you know, some extreme things, you know, including being in a coma because I had a very serious, you know, attempt. And that was years ago. Thankfully, I survived. And here I am. Now I have my husband, I have a family and all of this. But as somebody who has been through it, okay, and some of the things, you know, could maybe, not, I don't know if they could have been avoided, but if I would have had maybe some of the tools, and somebody who could speak to me in a way that was understanding and loving and non-judgmental, which I didn't really have that. I had to be that for myself. Or I had to find people passively online who talked about these things in a real way. And then I got into recovery and I met some people, you know, that were, you know, honest but soft. And encouraging. And slowly but surely I found ways to kind of clear some of that dark energy out of my life. And I will tell you, it's probably why I am so very vigilant and protective over my family, over my interactions with people, who I let into my world, you know, and it's because it took me years, not, you know, a year, not 6 months, a decade, a decade probably, you know, even after being sober, to begin to even have any kind of understanding of how to get my life in a way that, you know, made sense for me. And that I felt protected from, you know, the real world, material world problems, you know, but also spiritual attacks, you know, just kind of being open to transient beings, emotions, waves of, you know, darkness coming into my life. Now, is it 100%? Obviously not. No, we're not in control of basically anything in our lives, but we can create a little bubble, right? And we try to keep it clean, right? Keep it tidy at least. It will help, I promise. And I know this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like this is such, you know, these readings are about what's going on in your life. Maybe not 100% all the time, maybe only some of it resonates. But I want to talk about things that, you know, you might think about it and then one day it comes up, right? Something happens and you think, I remember this strange lady on YouTube talking about whatever it was, and maybe I should try that. Maybe I should just give it a try. You know, and it might be helpful. And that's, you know, that's my highest hope, is that some of this stuff can be a little bit helpful, ultimately. So, as you go through this situation with your friend, your family, whoever it is, you know, stay resilient, stay, what is the word? Fortified. Keep those boundaries up. I know if you go back into it, and I don't blame you if you do. I understand, you know. I have that draw to take care of people as well. I get it. But you have to protect your peace. You have to protect the healing that you have done. And, you know, you've made a lot of headway towards your self-work. And that is invaluable, right? So, you know, be mindful about where you go and how you get there, right? So, let's see. Now, we have a little bit of, we have emotional kind of waters here, and it's full. I feel there is anxiety. And I really think the big thing here is feeling guilty about saying no to people, even though you've gotten better about saying no, right? There's still that feeling of having to over-explain yourself to some degree, feeling like you are not honoring your why you've been put here on this earth. And a lot of Sagittarius people, I really think, you know, are healers, caretakers, mediators, advocates, really concerned about the well-being of others in their life, in their community, and so on. So, you know, it makes sense that if you feel, you know, like, okay, I don't think that I can apply myself to this situation. There's a lot of negativity around it. I don't think I would be helpful in this situation, but you feel bad because it's like, I also have the tools to maybe be of assistance here, but it's also quite triggering. It's also, there's a history there. You kind of already know how this might play out. So this is something I think that, you know, maybe you can talk to somebody about it, somebody that you trust, maybe, you know, a support system person, therapist, counselor, significant other, or whoever, best friend, you know, and a voice of reason ultimately, okay? And that might be helpful for you to get over some of that guilt, right? Or at least, you know, process some of it. And then up here, I see we have a sun. It looks like the sun to me. And I feel like, you know, as we get on the other side of this, it's going to start to feel more and more like you are in that light, right? You've gone outside, you're standing in that beautiful fall afternoon light, sun. Maybe it's the spring where you're at in the southern hemisphere. Wherever it is, the sun is not too harsh yet, hopefully. So, or has not diminished itself to the point where you can't feel it. But, you know, either way, I think that there's going to be strength, you know. And ultimately, this This is just another thing to get through, okay? All right, so we have the water blessings affirmation cards, okay? And these are obviously the water element. We're just going to kind of go through these, and I'm just going to stop where it feels right. Some of these I can't tell exactly what they are. It looks like maybe a waterfall. And it says, it says, accept, support, allow a continuous flow of gratitude, clear all fear with eagerness for what's next. Okay. You know, I think this really, it makes sense to me, having to do with talking out how you feel. Somebody's asking you maybe for some support. Well, you might need support in deciding how you can fulfill that role. Talking it through, right? Some clarity there. And, you know, not getting stuck in that place of anxiety and anticipation about what might be going wrong and so on. Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me today, Sagittarius. We will talk in a few more days, but before I kind of wrap up this video, I wanted to ask you if you would be so kind as to like the video. It helps us get into the algorithm, and the algorithm kind of, you know, rules everything on the internet. And so we like to make it happy by giving it the engagement. Oh my goodness. The engagement that it wants, and that is, you know, anything like liking the video, watching the readings from the beginning to the end. And if you're here at the end, thank you very much. And sharing the videos on other social media platforms. And of course you don't have to do this at all, but I figure if you get to the end, maybe you're more inclined to support the channel in some way. And let me just say, I really do. Anything, just, you know, watching however much you watch, leaving a comment, especially, you know, really, I read the comments, they make me want to do the readings. Like, I sometimes feel like, I don't know if anybody's listening. I don't know if this helps anybody. I don't know if I am being, you know, received well, or just kind of rambling on. But I really do, when I read in the morning and throughout the day, when I read the comments, I'm like, okay, we have something here, and we have a beautiful community emerging, and I truly appreciate it. The love is immense. So, other than that, if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And, yeah, I think that's it. So we will talk in just a few days, and you know, I love you guys, and we will hopefully have a wonderful week ahead. It's Sunday night, and it's probably why I sound so tired. So tired. But yeah, I'm gonna get some good sleep tonight. All right, we'll talk later. Bye.